okay on that so far?
So you just
I'm just substituting.
Why is there underlying?
Oh, I had underlined that for a different point. So I wrote my statement using letters right here, and then I replaced everything with expressions. And then you have basically an algebra 1 equation where you combine like terms, move all the variables to one side, move all the constants to the other side. Once I find y equals 9, then I plug that in and solve for gh, hi, and gi. And then you can check yourself to see if those answers work out and are correct. Are you okay with the substitution? Yeah. Mm-hmm. It takes a little bit of practice, so I might be saying a lot of the same things over or trying to move on to the next thing because they're all very similar. I'm going to keep moving down. Let's look at 3 and 4. I'll keep 2a up if you need it. 3 and 4 are both using the diagram that say KLM. I wrote on it for number 4, so this goes with number 4. Number 3, though, is only using KL. It's using this part and LM. Based on those little congruent marks I just circled, that's why I knew I was able to set KL and LM equal to each other. Usually we're pretty good with that. Where I had questions in my last couple classes were number 4. It said KL is 8x minus 5, and KM is 12x plus 6. That's it, 12x plus 6. I know that these guys are congruent. KL and LM are congruent. So if KL is 8x minus 5, so is LM. It is also 8x minus 5. It is also 8x minus 5. You can write either 8x minus 5 plus 8x minus 5 on the left side of your equation, or you can write what I did. I did 2 times 8x minus 5 because there's 2 8x minus 5s. Was that your question? Great, great. So you can do either. It will simplify to be the same thing. I don't know if I just didn't want to write a lot, so I was like, oh, I'll just do 2 times and then it's the same. But you could have also written this instead of 2 times 8x minus 5. All right, anything else on all the way up to 4? It's a lot of just substitution. So looking at a picture and knowing how to like substitute in to make an equation. So somebody asked me last period if I could make another one. I'll see if I have another one for you guys. When we get prepared for another quiz, there'll be questions like this on the quiz review, so you'll have more of those. I can give you another blank copy of this worksheet even after you make corrections, or if you want to pull it up on Schoology. I told other kids that's a really great resource. So you have all the answers now. You're going to turn in a worksheet, pull up a blank one, and see if you can do the same problems now that you have an answer key to check it with. All right, I'm going to keep scrolling down, and I have to zoom out a little bit to see all of number 5. It says points A, B, and C are collinear, which means they're all in a line, and B is between A and C. So I'm going to zoom in on the picture I drew over to the right. If I could zoom, that'd be great. I had to draw this picture, and then I went back to what was given to me, and I labeled it. So I drew A, B, and C with B between A and C. And then I went back to what was given to me. In orange, I highlighted AC equals blank, AB equals blank, BC equals blank. If I had not drawn a picture, I don't do well. I cannot go from that orange highlight to a math statement. I can't take that next step very well. I have to draw a picture. I really encourage you to also draw a picture, label that picture. It's going to make it seem a lot easier. Once I drew the picture, it was really easy to see. Oh, AC is the whole distance. Oh, AB is right here, it goes from A to B. Oh, BC is this one right here. And I can easily see that I add the 2 parts to equal the whole. Once I did that, it was easy to set up an equation, which I did over here. AB, which is -1 plus 2x, plus BC, which is 11, equals AC, which is 3x plus 3. Gwenna? My final answer was all of this in the box right there. It said find the lengths indicated. So I had to find AC, AB, and BC. Once I found X was 7, I just plugged it in. Okay. 6. On a number line, the coordinates of D, E, G, F, G, H are those numbers. Before I read anything else, I'm going to physically draw a number line. I have a number line right here, highlighted in yellow. I drew a number line, and then I put the letters where they were corresponding. I could have labeled the other dashes. I was afraid it was going to get messy, and I didn't feel like doing that. But that's okay, because I have the pieces that matter. And it says I have to find the lengths of the segment. You can do the algebra that we did. You can do, like I have highlighted here in orange, absolute value of A minus B. Or you could literally just bunny hop your way across the number line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Cool. That works. DH is 2 more, so it'd be 14. Are those lengths the same? No. Nope. Are those segments congruent? No. DE and EH is the same thing. I wrote the points minus absolute value, or you could have just bunny hopped your way across. Those both were 7 though. Are those the same length? Are those congruent? Yes. You should. To E? To -2? Uh-huh. If it was +2, I wouldn't get 7, you're right, but it's -2. Mm-hmm. Any questions up to 6 so far? Say again. Oh, I haven't done 7 yet. Yes, I'm ready for 7. Anything before I get to 7. All right, 7. It says, suppose P is at +2, PQ is 8, and PR is 12. What are the possible coordinates of the midpoint PQ? It never asks about R again, so I crossed off PR. That's extra information I don't want. I don't want that. Doesn't matter. What I do want is PQ. I drew a number line. I drew P is at 2. And then from there, I knew that 8 units was Q. So underneath, I have 8 units to the right. I jumped 8 units to the left. I added 8 to go 8 units to the right. I minus 8 to go 8 units to the left. We don't know what Q is. It is. Q is either 10 or -6. We don't know which one. We just know it's one of those two. Now, it didn't ask for Q, though. It said, what are the possible coordinates of the midpoint of PQ? Oh, shoot. What's the midpoint? The middle. If I know that P to Q, I can't keep drawing over this, goes here, I just want to go halfway. If I was going to go a distance of 8, what's half of that distance? 4. If I go 4 from either the Q or the P, I should get the same number, which is 6. Same thing the other way. If I go from 2 to -6 and I go halfway in the middle, that's -2. So the midpoint, I decided that point was M. The possible coordinates for that are 6 and -2. Any questions on that one? Ava? So are you okay with how I got 10 and -6 for Q? So now I just went middle between P and Q. So I went halfway between those two distances. Oh, okay. You good then? Do you want me to keep talking about M or? Okay. All right. And then let's look at 8 before we go over to the next page. 8 says if NO is 17 and NP is 5x minus 6, find the value of x. Label, label, label. Label, label. It just told us these two things. 17 and 5x minus 6. Just because I see that O is a midpoint doesn't mean I need to get crazy and start just setting things equal to each other. The reason I tell you to draw and label, and I don't know if I've said that a billion times yet during this class or just I've said it a billion times today, so maybe I haven't said it enough to you guys. Draw, label, draw, label, draw, label. If you draw and label this, you see that this distance is not equal to this distance, right? I know you're new to geometry, but you guys have some brains in you. You know those are not the same thing. You guys are smart. Trust yourself. Once I draw and label this, I know that it's not a possible answer to set 17 equal to 5x minus 6, but now I do see I have some congruent marks. What should I call PO? What's that distance? What's that length? 17. It's the same as NP, or NO, excuse me. I wrote out 17 plus 17 equals 5x minus 6, but you can go directly to 34. That is fine. I had to figure out what OP was in order to even solve this. And there's no math to do OP. I just know because they're congruent, I can use it the same. It said to find X, so I did. And then I plugged that in to help me find NP. Questions, concerns? Anything else on the front page? I'll leave this here for a second if everyone's still copying it down. Then I'm going to jump to the back side, okay? Can I go to the back? Not yet. I'm just going to go down a little bit so you can also see 8, but you can also see 9 and 10. 9 and 10 aren't too hard. They're a lot like 7, which we just did. It says suppose point J has coordinates of -2 and JK equals 4. Well, I'm starting at -2 and I can go 4 one way and I can go 4 the other way. That's all I want. Where could K be? Yes, Gwenna?
Sorry, I just always do this one the boxes.
It's the one, so since you guys are the last period, I like write stuff off to the side and then like highlight or box things in, and sometimes I try and erase, but today I didn't do a great job of it.
Thank you.
All the answers on here I think are like that green, that teal color.
Yeah, you used to put accents. Okay, this makes a lot more.
You feel a little bit better?
Yeah, I like that one.
Good. It's also funny because we did talk about a number line, but I didn't make you draw your own yesterday, so that might have been kind of confusing. And there's different ways that I word things that mean the same thing as what we practice. So yeah, it's okay. Homework may feel a little bit hard. Remember, it's just completion, so it's in your best interest to try it and to ask questions. I just like want you to think through these. I want homework to be harder than a quiz or test. That's what I want. I don't want the quiz or test to be harder. Do you? No, you don't want to practice something that's harder than what we've done in class. I want it to be hard when we do homework. I want it to be easy when you get to the quiz. All right, let's keep rolling. I'm just talking too much. All right. Anything else, 10 or are we good on 10? Number 11, did you notice that was the same as the front? Yeah, I messed up. And I keep forgetting to change it every year. So bonus, you got a problem you didn't have to do. So I just wrote same as the front. I didn't even show any work on this one. Now, I do have to use this diagram for 12, 13, 14, and 15. So I either drew a picture or I like copy and pasted that down. So I have a picture next to all of mine. I highly suggest either doing that or making sure that you're writing lightly enough on the diagram so you can draw on it for one problem, erase it, and then use it for the next problem too. Okay? Number 12 is just talking about ROQ. So I just copied that part of the line, this guy right here. RO is 6 plus X and OQ is 2X plus 1. Well, first sign is I don't have this whole distance, so I can't do segment addition. And I have these nice little congruent marks. It's going to set them equal.
So how do you get Oh, okay,
Yep, so I have to use that diagram for all the other problems. So if you didn't think about that, you're probably like, how am I supposed to know anything about these? That's why I copy and pasted the diagram or drew a picture for all of them. Good. Quenna?
On number 13,
Uh-huh.
will there be a lot of this decimal?
I don't know if there'll be a lot, but I did this to show you that you could have a decimal.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I could, so I decided to do it.
And then you did something funny to make sure that you didn't have a decimal, right?
Yeah, so now I
Yes, yes. So you may have decimals. They're usually pretty nice ones, like 4.5 is a pretty nice decimal. You're not going to get like 0.3 repeating or anything too crazy. It's usually like a half or a quarter. But I did do this in there just to show you that just because you got a decimal doesn't mean you're wrong. I know in Algebra 1 a lot we give you nice, pretty answers, but then that messes you up for everything else because then you think you're going to get nice, pretty answers all the time and you don't.
and then also, it's like the,
I'll talk about it in a second. Absolute value?
Do you only add that at the end? You also,
You have to do everything inside the absolute value before you like evaluate it. So if
before you can make it.
yep, so just because there are negative numbers in there, you can't make them positive and then add them together. You have to do whatever's on the inside and then make it positive. Good question. All right. Yes, Ava.
How come there is there a 2 in front of the
You could have also written 3x plus 4 plus 3x plus 4. Number 13 and 14 are kind of like number 8 on the front page where I gave you like one of the midpoints. So I gave you like 3x plus 4 here, and I needed you to know that this was also 3x plus 4. The same thing down here, I gave you 5x here, and I needed you to know that one was also 5x. Yeah, I'm a little hot in here. Is it cold by you, Elise? Okay. See, it's really cold over there, and it's hotter as we get across the room. It is better than it was last week, though. I put in a work order, and on Friday, people came in like kind of late, and we're fixing the AC, so it's not perfect, but it's better. So sometimes I'm in here like 5 periods in a row sometimes, and if I'm like when it was so hot, I was like, I'm gonna die. Like I might just die in here. It's so hot. All right, I'm gonna keep going through. I need to talk more about 13 or 14. I'm just gonna scroll up a little bit so you can also see 15. What is point O? What's special about point O in this picture? What's special about point O? On any of them? It is a segment bisector, and it's also the midpoint. Good. It's the midpoint on both of them. And so if I have O on NP and RQ goes through O, that's a segment bisector for NP. And if I have O on ROQ and NP goes through that, then it's also a segment bisector. So the term describes the relationship between them. They are segment bisectors. The very last one is what we call a reasoning problem. And it's just like, can you draw it? Kind of like a challenge, I guess. So it says if KL is 5 and KJ is 10, is it possible that LJ is 5? Yep, I drew it. If you put L in between K and J, you could make that work. However, I drew what we call a counter example over here, which is if you put K in the middle, it would not work. I know, that's a bummer, right? If K is in the middle, it would not work. So You have to make sure that you know it's because L is in between K and J. All right, any other questions? All right, make sure your name is on it if you have a paper copy. If you did it on Notability, upload that to Schoology right now, please. Yep, I'm gonna keep this up. If I'm gonna pass out notes, if anyone wants paper notes, I'm gonna give that to you. If you want online notes, you can find that on Schoology. If you're still copying, go for it. You don't want paper, do you?
Which homework was this?
This is homework number 4, 1, 3.
Okay.
Thanks, Silas, listening. Isaac, nothing. Elise, nothing.
It's like yesterday. A little bit.
I will give someone $20 if they go with hands with cats.
I know what you're right.
I'll probably have to use Eric's the type of guy who'd be
Eric did, man.
he would leave 20 minutes, he forgot it. Did he actually forget?
Hey, little David.
Today. I think last week he did.
I've had 0 water today, so I gotta start drinking. 0.
And then like 4 months.
I have had 3 cups of coffee, but that's not the same.
That's some water.
It is some water, yeah. I guess coffee does count as your water intake. That's what I've read.
I thought that was
You want notes? Hear it?
Yeah.
You gotta get it together. Or you're gonna be left behind, my man. I'm not really mad, but for real, pull it together. Okay, before we get into notes, I want to point out something on Schoology. If you go to, I'm gonna just roll through this really quick. I have been recording your guys' lessons, and I'm recording it now for whoever wants to see it. And I put my link to my YouTube on here. So I told you I was recording, but I realized I never told you how to get them. So if you just click on that, it will take you to my page of all of my videos. And if you go to playlists, you can go to Geometry Unit 1. Everything that I'll do will be put by lessons. I have Geometry Spring. That's all the stuff I did on e-learning, Pre-Cal Spring, Pre-Cal Unit P. You don't need that, but your Geometry Unit 1, so you can find any video in here. It just makes it so much easier to sort through instead of having to scroll through like the 100 videos I have to find what you want. Say again? I'm recording right now. There's a Zoom link as well for anybody who will ever need it. I have it organized by weeks. I don't know if any of you noticed, but this week I put a schedule. So I told you what we were doing each day. So Monday, you took a quiz. Yesterday, we learned 1-3. Today, we learned 1-4. Tomorrow, I don't see you. Friday, we're doing 1-5. Earlier today, I went and did one for week 3 and week 4. I want you to be able to see when we have quizzes coming up, because you have a quiz coming up next Friday.
Oh, no.
We also have no class on Tuesday, no class on Wednesday, and NWEA on Thursday.
How does that work?
Do you take it if you're online?
Yes, everyone has to take
Can you
it.
take it at home?
No,
You
I don't
come
know.
in?
Ben, You guys act like I have any power. I have no power.
No, I'm checking like if you go online, where you take it at home or do you?
I guess so. I
Oh, bad.
assume. I don't know.
Wait, why do they not cross?
Because on we're doing NWEA schedule goes alpha, A, B, C, and then Thursday is D, E, F, G.
Wait, so
What
when we
is-
have a
Wait, so not like a
10
half day?
No, it's 90-minute class periods.
Not being.
We did this last year. We did this last year. Chill out. Yeah, you did. We all did it.
Oh, yeah.
We all did it.
The freshman did.
You maybe didn't take it, but we all did the schedule. The NWA is not that deep, but I just can't teach that day or give you a quiz that day. We have to just do
Do
NWA.
they like push it on you like if you get a lower score than you do?
They released the new.
No, it's just like supposed to help us see kind of where you're at. So like if you've been like performing,
You actually look at it.
yeah, like the first when you take it, and then I never look at it again. All right, the week after is Labor Day, and then we're learning 2 lessons, and then Thursday's going to be a weird day. I don't really know what that is, and then Friday we don't have class. So we're getting up towards a test. You'll have a test week 5. So the reason I'm doing this schedule is to not tell you about NWEA. It's to tell you when you have tests and quizzes. So if you have a sports game, if you have a play practice, if you have a job, I don't care what you have, I want to give you a heads up so it's not like the day before and you're like, oh, I didn't study because I didn't have time. No, you know now. All right, I'm going to get our 1-4 notes out because I got to get going. I got 20 minutes-ish. And we got to roll. All right, so today we are talking about angles. We had to start with points, lines, planes, rays, line segments in order to build an angle. An angle is consistent of 2 different rays. Can we stop talking so I can stop yelling? Thank you. And it has a common initial point. So if I'm talking about angle 1, I'm looking right here. Here's angle 1. I'm looking at the points, the rays that make this angle work. The common initial point is right here. There are 2 different ways we can name an angle. You can either name it by the number or by the 3 points that are on it. Let me go write that down here. You name it either by one number or 3 points. Yep. Now, the 3 points, order matters. It matters what order you write those points. The common initial point, it's also called the vertex, but we'll talk more about that later. It must be in the middle. It must be in the middle when we name them. So other names for angle 1 could be angle ABD. And it also could be flipped. I could do DBA. I'm going to zoom in so it looks nicer. ABD. Or it could be DBA. Could it be BAD?
No.
Why not?
No.
B has in the middle. That's bad. I just did that to make a bad joke. You laugh. Oh, okay, bummer. All right, a couple other things to note about angles. You write angles with a little less than sign, A, B, D. I like to put a little curve in there to show that it's an angle. Sometimes my handwriting gets messy, and if I just did A, B, D like this, sometimes that starts to look like an L or a C, and I get confused. You can do whatever makes you happy. I do not care. But that little signal right there tells me I'm talking about an angle or an object. Think about this as an object. If, on the contrary, I wrote M and then the angle mark and then ABD, this means the measure of that angle. The little M in front means measure of angle ABD. And that's not an object, that is a number. Yeah, it's like 90 degrees or something like that. Remember yesterday I taught you AB with the hat on it is a segment, that's an object, and then AB without the hat is like the length, and that's a number. The exact same thing as what I'm just showing you here.
How do you do that again?
It's the method.
In measurement. It's just notation.
So it's the same thing.
Yep, I'm just showing you notation because you'll see that, and I want you to know it means it's a number, not the actual object. All right, let's keep going. Next is the sides of the angles. The sides are made by rays. Who can name the rays that make up angle 1? Sydney? BA and BD. Good. I saw a lot of hands and I heard some other voices, so I'm glad that wasn't hard for us. While we're here, this might not apply to your class, but I know it applies to some people. Reminder about notation of rays. The arrow goes over the letter in which the arrow is going. You can play the dangerous game of writing it like this with the arrow going to the left. I don't play that dangerous game because I mess up. I like all my arrows going the same way. Technically, it's not incorrect. It's just ugly and it's dangerous. So be careful if that's the game you feel like playing. Are these two the same ray?
No.
Are they opposite rays?
Yeah.
No, wait. Wait, yeah, they sure.
No.
They don't.
No.
Not enough letters. Don't share an endpoint. They didn't go the same direction. That's why they're not the same. These are nothing except a waste of our time and very confusing. So
Can you just cross them out?
you can cross them out. The only thing I wanted to point out here was that you should use the letter. That's the endpoint. That should really go first. If you're playing dangerously, be prepared to. Never mind. I'm not going to finish that sentence. Hello. Now I've got vertex. The vertex is the common point between the two rays. What's the vertex of angle 1? B. Awesome. What's the vertex of angle 2? B.
So it's like
It's kind of like where the angle is formed. Like if this is an angle, like the angle's like actually right here. So this point right here is what the vertex is. Remember, the vertex has to be in the middle when we name it. All right, last concept about this angle before we do some vocab. Interior versus exterior. If I have this purple point right here, whoa, that was crazy. The interior of angle 1 is if that angle were to close, everything that would get eaten if that angle closed. So everything contained between the two rays that would eat up that point if it was in there. This purple point is on the interior of angle 1. And the exterior is literally everything else, not just what's over here in angle 2. It is everything below, everything that's not yellow. So if I have now like a green point over here, is this in the interior of angle 1? No? We call it in the exterior of angle 1. Is it in the interior of angle 2? Yeah, that's fine. The only part that's the exterior of both angles 1 and 2 would be this area down here. Okay? That's in both the exterior angles 1 and 2. It would be shaded if I was doing exterior, yes. Mm-hmm.
So is that yellow part the exterior of
The yellow and then the screen at the bottom that I circled, that's the exterior of angle 2. Very good. All right, moving along. Definitions. Two angles that have the same measure are called what kind of angles? Congruent. Duh. Angles are measured in units called degrees. When you get to pre-cal, I will teach you about radians, but we are not there today.
Yeah, don't do that.
2.5 years from now, I will do that.
I'm not gonna-
1.5 years, I guess.
2.5 years?
Well, I think 1.5.
Senior year.
All right, You guys have used protractors before, right?
Yeah.
Can we find the angle measurements of RSP and PST?
Yeah. 65.
65 for the first one is what I heard. Why is the second one 65?
It goes from 65 to 130. Or you could just do 130 to 130.
Yeah, we could do that. A safe one would just be to minus the ones that it's on. Very good. Oh shoot, if this is 65, then what do I know about these two angles? They're congruent. Come on, board. And so I can write that angle RSP is congruent to angle PST. We cool with that? All right, time for some rapid fire vocab because I think you know this all.
Nope.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right angle.
An angle whose measure is 90 degrees is called?
Right.
An angle whose measure is between 0 and 90 is called? Acute. An angle whose measure is between 90 and 180 is called? Obtuse. And an angle whose measure is 180 is called? We call it a straight angle.
Never heard of that.
Yeah, most of the other kids didn't either. That's okay. It's straight because it's like a straight line. This angle ABC is 180 degrees, and it's a flat line, straight line. Exactly how you think.
I did OBCOO.
Oh, no, USC. All right, next page. Come on. All right, angle addition postulate. Yesterday I taught you segment addition postulate where we added segments. What do you think angle addition postulate is? Adding angles. We're not too crazy in the math department. We keep it pretty simple. Now, I don't want to do this example, so you can cross this part out. What we will do is draw this on my diagram. It says if point B is on the interior angle AOC, well, let me label angle AOC. And B is on the interior, so it's somewhere in here. I'm going to cheat so it's not right in the middle, because that kind of confuses me sometimes. Now we're going to draw a ray from O to B. And now I have three angles. I have one, I have two, and then the whole is three. The statement they gave me, we're not going to rewrite it, we're just going to walk through it. It says AOB plus BOC is equal to AOC.
Wait, what is the third?
The whole thing, AOC. Good question. A lot of times we see the two and then we forget that they make up a whole angle. So the third one is the whole angle. Question? There's no, I have answered no questions yet. I'm just showing you what I'm about to do, and now I'm about to answer some questions.
Answer like how we add them.
Yes, so now we're going to do a couple examples. For sake of time, we're not going to plug in. I don't think any of you got the plugging in wrong, did you? No, I think you got the setting up wrong, right?
Yeah.
Right, so let's talk through the setting up, and I'm going to do as many as we can before we have to leave.
We have to finish these.
Yeah, we'll finish them tomorrow. We were able to get through all of it.
So we won't have to do this homework.
No. No, notes are in class. If I don't finish something, we'll talk about it together. All right, DEF is a straight angle. Stop. Identify our picture. 180. Draw on your picture. Always draw on your picture. If you get a problem wrong on a quiz and you didn't draw on your picture, I'll probably write something smart back. Like, what do you draw? Why didn't you draw? Or you're too smart to draw? Question mark? I don't know. We'll see how I feel when I grade. Then it says, what are measures of DEC and CEF? So let us look. DEC. Measure of angle DEC plus CEF. Measure of angle CEF equals DEF. Measure of angle DEF. Now I wrote it in a statement like this, and now I'm going to plug in. DEC is 11x minus 12. CEF is 2x plus 10. And DEF is 180. Let's plug. 11x minus 12. 2x plus 10. 180. Now you got an algebra equation. So 13x minus 2 equals 180. Add 2. 182 divided by 13 is 14. Again, I'm not going to waste time plugging in. You can try that on your own later. I don't need you to complete that in your notes. I don't really think. That's not the hard part for you. No one's messed up doing that.
That's not the hard part.
No. No, sorry. What I did was the hard part. What I'm not doing is not the hard part. Does that make sense?
What's the hard?
This. Plugging in x into this in order to get those answers.
Oh, so it'd be like 11
11 times 14. Yeah.
Oh,
Do you struggle with that? I don't believe that.
11 times 14.
All right, moving on.
The easy part is, so the hard part is making the equation for itself.
Yes. All right, let's do another one.
Oh,
Yeah, we're not done.
oh, I forgot.
Yeah, I have until 10 or 9 when they start praying, so let me get through these last couple. This one says JKL is a right angle. Stop. Label our picture. Do you remember that a little box means 90 degrees?
yes, I do it every time.
Perfect. And then I'm able to add my 3 angles. JKM. I'm not doing color coordinated here, so I hope that you can follow. Probably not. JKM plus MKL. MKL equals measure of JKL. This is the whole part. Sometimes I'll ask you to write this statement with letters. Sometimes I won't. I think it's helpful to know what to plug in. So now I'm going to do 12x plus 3 plus 6x minus 3 equals 90. Awesome. All right. Last concept I'm going to teach you. I know you guys are doing awesome. Last thing is an angle bisector. We talked about segment bisectors. Those bisect segments. So what's an angle bisector? Bisects angles. And it bisects it into 2 congruent new angles. So I have one right here for you. YW is an angle bisector. The 2 angles it left are both equal to 80 degrees. Can you name my angles for me that are congruent? I need 3 points.
X, Y, W, Z, Y, W.
X, Y, W, Z, Y, W. Could I have done W, Z, Y?
No.
Not
No.
in order.
Why?
This is not in order.
It's not in order. All right, keep going. Y has to be in the middle. Last problem. KJ and KM are opposite rays. KN bisects JKL. Stop. Bisects JKN. Bisects JKL. So what do I know about JKN and KNL? They're congruent. I also know that JKN is 8n plus or minus 13, and NKL is 6x plus 11. How do I set up an equation and solve? Megan? Megan? Ooh, almost. We're missing this little part right here, though. We can't add up to 180. I love the thought. Barrett?
180
We're still missing this little part. All of this would have to add up to 180, so we would need to know this is like 40 or something. Well, I don't know what X is yet. What did you say, Maggie? Nothing? Okay. You told me they were congruent. Set them equal to each other. Hey. Bring it down. And bless